Alrighty, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Minebuster Gaming YouTube channel. Now, in today's video, I have a couple different things that I want to talk about. First things first, you got the LCS lock-in tournament coming up, starting tomorrow, I believe. I'm not sure exactly what time the games start. I'll have to look back into that, but with that being said, what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about a couple of storylines going into tomorrow. So if you're an LCS fan, I'm just basically going to tell you some of what you need to look for throughout the tournament, and basically this tournament will give us an idea as to what we should expect to see throughout the spring split of the LCS. So here we go. Now, currently, the top storylines that I see kind of developing here are the return of Cloud9 and Team Liquid to the very, very top. Now, when I say the return to the very top, I mean kind of like a redemption arc, right? You got Team Liquid that finished third. You got Cloud9 that finished fourth last year. It was not going well for them. It just baffles me, honestly, that they fell that far in the playoffs last year. Cloud9 is what I'm talking about right now. Like, they had one of the best teams. They were dominant throughout the entire first half of the split, and then, boom, one loss to TSM, and now they're all over the place. They were trying out a bunch of new drafts and like a bunch of random crazy stuff, and some of it just backfired in their face. And at the end of the day, their players ended up losing confidence, and then they just fell right out of the ranks. When it came down to playoffs time, you just got TSM played way harder than them, and then that was the end of that. And then now you're not even going to Worlds anymore. That's going to be a big blow to Cloud9 to have the best roster going into the split and then actually coming out fourth place behind three other teams. That's insane. Like that's unfortunate is like the best way to explain that. But honestly, with the new roster they have now going for them, I think it's going to be much better, right? Now you have Perks coming over from EU, so that's a good addition. Yeah, they kicked out Licorice. Now they got Fudge in the top lane. Still got Blabber in the jungle, and still got Sven Vulcan at AD carry and support. Blabber works very well for them. It's going to be interesting to see how kind of like a superstar jungler works with a superstar mid laner. It's going to be very interesting to see how the dynamic between them is going to work. Fudge is basically a new player coming into here, coming straight out of the academy scene. It's going to be interesting to see how well he fits with this team. I know Fudge is going to have a bit of a hard time fitting into a team that's already at this high of a level, so they're going to be expecting a lot from him really quickly. But I think he might actually be able to provide it, so we'll see how it goes. Sven Vulcan, I haven't been a huge fan of Sven in recent times. Vulcan is good, but Sven has been a little bit subpar in my personal opinion, so we'll have to see how that goes. I don't even think I'd rank him top 3 to carries, but anyways, moving forward. Fudge, Blabber, Perks, Sven, Vulcan. That's the Cloud9 team. Should be first or second place, and the team that they're fighting with is Team Liquid for the very top rank. Now, Team Liquid's team, just by hearing this roster, it is insanity, right? Alfari, Santorin, Jensen, Tactical, Core JJ. That's all you needed to know. This team is stacked from an NA perspective, right? From all the players and the plays that we saw from last split, you can already tell that this team is stacked. Jensen, now that Bjergsen's gone, probably the number 1 mid laner. Of course, you got to also add Power of Evil and Perks to that equation now, of course, but we'll see how that goes. Jensen, top 3 mid laners for sure. Like I said, in no particular order. Perks, Jensen, Power of Evil. But anyways, Tactical, Core JJ, proven to be a very, very effective bot lane last split. In fact, they might, going into this season, be one of the best bot lanes in general, overall, I'd say. And then moving forward from that, you got Santorin, in my opinion, the best jungler from last split, just based on pure team-centric play. Alfari, very, very solid top laner. He's really good at what he does. He can play many different styles, many different champions, and I think that's really going to help out this team. So he's basically just like a one-size-fits-all type player in the top lane, and I think that's a good idea. So honestly, the way that this team has been put together, the synergy works very well, and that's the kind of difference between Cloud9 and Team Liquid, which I think may end up being the determining factor, is that I think Team Liquid might just work a little bit better together than Cloud9 does. I just like the way that it's put together a little bit better. So I'd actually rank Team Liquid over Cloud9 for now, of course, depending on how well Perks can perform, right, and depends on his form. But anyways, moving forward, After that, some of the other storylines to keep in mind would be TSM's fall from glory due to the retirement of Doublelift and Bjergsen. Now, with that being said, of course, very respectful retirement for both of them. Bjergsen, he was at the top of his prime, if I'm being fully honest with you. He was at the top of his game. He was outplaying, I'd say he was one of, if not the number one mid laner from last split. But he was definitely playing very, very well. Even going into Worlds, he was playing very well. He just was a little bit held back by some issues that TSM was having at the time. But Doublelift also retiring. Now, keep in mind, even though I know a lot of people are saying that Doublelift was washed and all this other kind of stuff, you do still have to respect the career that he put up with Team Liquid, TSM, and all, every team that he's played for, CLG, right? And all the history that he's involved in with the NALCS. So just, keep that in mind when you do talk about Doublelift. But moving forward from the TSM side of things, and all I'm going to say for that, just to kind of put a little pin on that, is they're probably going to end up falling down to third, fourth, if not further to fifth or sixth. I think they could fall down pretty far, depending on how well their new team performs. But moving forward now, we have a very nice midfield fight between Evil Geniuses, 100 Thieves, FlyQuest, and TSM. So that's going to be really interesting to see what happens in that situation. Now, the next kind of thing that you need to keep in mind when we're going to be watching this happen is Golden Guardians basically had a big roster swap, essentially, with 100 Thieves, and not a full roster swap, but they got 4 players from Golden Guardians, right? 100 Thieves got 4 players from Golden Guardians. The only player that is different, I guess, from that roster, so it's basically the copy-paste of Golden Guardians, but instead of having Hanser in the top lane, now they have Someday, which is going to be very interesting to see. So the 100 Thieves roster for this season is going to be Someday, Closer, Demonte, FBI, Huhi. So that's a pretty good roster. That's a third, fourth roster, in my opinion. So that's what's going to happen there. You got Evil Geniuses. They got a pretty good roster, too. So their roster currently is... can't remember off the... there it is. Impact, Svenskeren, Jizuke, Deathly, Ignar. So Impact is a very solid top laner. Svenskeren's pretty good in the jungle. I'm not sure if I'd rank him top 3, but he's pretty good in the jungle. He can hold it down. Jizuke is pretty good in the mid lane. He showed off some stuff last split. Deathly is going to be kind of like a new young player coming in. And then you got Ignar. Ignar is a very good support. I'd put him top 2 supports between Core JJ, Ignar easily from last split. I, in fact, even considered Ignar to be a little bit better than Core JJ at a certain point in the season, or the split last year, but I still think Core JJ is a little bit better right now. But we'll see how it goes. We know Core JJ can work well with younger players. Let's see if Ignar can do the same with Deathly. But anyways, let's move forward then, and let's look down. So that's the top 4 right away. It's just Team Liquid, Cloud9, Evil Geniuses, 100 Thieves. And then 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Those are the positions that are going to be kind of tussled over a little bit. So the best way that I can explain it is that kind of bottom... top, bottom mid-tier is going to be between probably FlyQuest, who else is there? CLG, probably TSM is going to be somewhere 5th or 6th. So CLG, TSM, FlyQuest fighting for that 5th, 6th, 7th position. 8th, 9th, and 10th. That's going to be a fight between Golden Guardians, Dignitas, and... probably Immortals. So it's going to be Immortals, Dignitas, Golden Guardians fighting for bottom 3. You got FlyQuest, TSM, and CLG fighting for 5, 6, 7. And then top 4, I already told you what they're going to be. So if you guys want official rankings, then my official power rankings are going to be number 1 is going to be Team Liquid. Number 2 is going to be Cloud9, dependent on the form of the players of Cloud9 and how well they can mesh together. After that, we got, like I mentioned before, we have 100 Thieves. I'd say they're probably the ones to be third place, just based on pure team. They've basically taken the same roster that was destroying TSM last year, and now they've upgraded that with Someday in the top lane. So Someday's much more... solid than I'd say Hanser was in the top lane. So Hanser's kind of fallen off performance-wise over the last couple splits. But Anyways, moving forward, and then you got Evil Geniuses, most likely taking about 4th place coming in the coming split. I expect, surprisingly, FlyQuest to be 5th place, just because I think their roster is going to work well together, even though they have a bunch of young players and players that have not yet played in the NALCS. I think they can actually work well together, but I think they're going to be very closely tied with TSM probably for that 5th, 6th place spot. CLG is decent. Like, they're a very solid team, but they're going to struggle, I feel like, coming into the split. And I think they also don't have Broxa, I believe, until February due to travel issues with the USA. So we're going to have to see what happens there as well. So they're, just because of that, they're probably going to drop down to 6th or 7th place, probably, in this situation. Now, I don't really care who is at the back, the last 3 spots, 8th, 9th, 10th. You could take your pick of Golden Guardians, Dignitas, and the Immortals roster here. Immortals are probably going to be like 8th. You got, what is it? Probably Golden Guardians 9th, and maybe Dignitas 5th, 10th. And the reason why I'm saying Dignitas last is because I don't. There's a bunch of question marks on that team for me. Fake God, I was hearing from a bunch of people that he's really good. From a bunch of other people, they're saying that he still has a lot of improvements to do, and he's not that great right now, for the LCS at least. Neo is just a big question mark for me. I don't know that much about the guy. And the kind of, how do you say it, the pros or like the veterans that they have on this team, Dardoch and Aframu, I'm not quite sure how good they're going to be with new players. I mean, Aframu is okay, but Dardoch is the big question mark for me. So, honestly, I'm going to have to say they're going to be 10th, just based on the amount of doubts that I have. Golden Guardians, Niles, Iconic, Ablaze Olive, Newbie, and Stixay. It's pretty much a rookie roster, but I can see them working well together. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. But they can take 9th. But like I said, 8th, 9th, 10th, honestly, in no specific order, except for maybe just that Immortals roster. They can probably take 8th place over the rookie roster, the 2 rookie rosters. But anyways, they got Revenge, Xerxes, Insanity, Race, Destiny. Race and Destiny played in, I believe it was the Oceania League, which was dissolved, and now you got all those players coming to NA. So you're going to see a bunch of those guys here. I know Race played in Worlds. I believe Destiny did too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that experience is going to really help them in the NALCS level. But anyways, that's that. Those are my kind of team rankings / things to look out for in tomorrow's tournament. Of course, please do watch the tournament. Come back to my channel tomorrow as I cover more content from that tournament and give you an actual kind of performance analysis of what's going on and what to expect. But anyways, with that being said, it's been Minebuster. It's been nice to see you all, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.